This is podcasting.
I'm your host, Macsrebo.
And I am your father,
Michael. Or, aka as Macsrebo's dad.
Macsrebo's dad. Alright, so here we are, yet another great episode.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So, I love your shirt.
Oh, yeah?
I love your hair. Matches.
My hair, yes.
Okay. See, my shirt here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Rebel Scum art. Alright. They did this shirt here, which love, and it's fitting. Mm-hmm. So, why are we wearing these?
Well, today's episode is all about Maul and the Maul Shadow Lord series that just came out and is streaming on Disney+. I love it. It is so scary, it's so action. It's more action. I feel like it's more action in the animation more than anything else, because like all the other animation series, they're not really pretty much action. I don't think there's more action in it. But I love that Darth Maul is now, like, the main person that they're focusing on. And all, like, the different people, like, the Pikes and everything. And he's trying to, like, get them back and he's trying to rule all of them because they all, like, vanished on him. It's like, oh, yeah, he's gone. I'm not going to do this deal anymore and everything like that.
Yeah, so they went against him and tried to cheat him out. And so, yeah, so now he's back.
Now, this is, like, really showing how he's rise to power and everything like that.
All right, so let's, for the viewers who may not know who Maul is, who is Darth Maul? What is he? Who is he?
Well, he is a Zabrak who is born on Dathomir, and his mother is Mother Talzin, which is the mother witch of the Night Sisters, and the Sith took him away, and so he was Emperor Palpatine's apprentice. And then Obi-Wan cut him in half in episode 1, and really then he was like, and the Phantom Menace.
Okay, all right. So
then in the Clone Wars he got back, and then he had like these spider legs and everything like that, and he survived. And then after that he went to Dathomir. They built like more like better legs, and then the Mandalorians found him and made him even better legs, and then he's like, oh, I'm gonna take after Mandalore, and so he's teaming up with like the Mandalorians, and it's the whole Siege of Mandalore, and so Ahsoka and Rex and Bo-Katan and the other good Mandalorians are fighting Death Watch and Darth Maul and fighting for Mandalore, and it's super cool.
Okay.
And then he also is in Solo, he's in charge of Crimson Dawn, and I really want to know, how did he become the ruler of Crimson Dawn after Drayden Voss died? So, and also in the Clone Wars, Drayden Voss was in a hologram form in the Clone Wars too, so you have to look out for that.
So he's all across Star Wars. It's not just like, this is the first time we're seeing him. This is not the first time that we're seeing him to the screen, right?
And he also was in Rebels too. He was an old person.
Okay. And he was in and he was in Rebels, and one of the things that I remember from Rebels, he was
trying to convince Ezra to turn to the dark side to be his apprentice, to take over the Sith, to end them. That's what the Maul Shadow Lord is about. So he's trying to, because he got like abandoned by his master, he wants to try to get him back and try to like push down the Empire and rule over that. And so he's trying to get all the syndicates and rule them, and so the syndicates and Maul and the Mandalorians go against the Sith and win. I'm really excited if Maul goes against Vader in this series. If that can happen.
That would be very interesting. So here we are. Right now, they have come out with 4 episodes.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the episodes are too short. They need 2 in one episode.
We need more.
Yeah.
I need more. I need more episodes. I need like a whole new season. And
season 2.
Like 2 seasons.
Well, they are.
They are, yes.
They
so
are?
right.
Wow.
So they've already talked. They already said that there's 2 seasons. I saw somewhere else saying that this could possibly be the there could be many seasons in this. But yes, they're already saying that they're already scheduling for a second There are how many episodes? Do you know how many episodes in this one?
I don't remember.
In this season, I believe there's 8. I believe they're doing 2, 2, 2, and 2.
The finale
and the
is
final one is
May
going to
the
be
4th.
May 4th.
Ooh.
Okay. And so, right, so that's, here we are in halfway through April.
Yeah.
And we'll, so we have a couple of weeks of that, and then however long it is.
9 and 10. So
9
it's
and 10.
Release on May 4th.
Okay, so episode 9 and 10 is going to be released on
Wow.
May the 4th. May the 4th is a big day for Star Wars, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's like, may the 4th be with you. So it's May the 4th be with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a whole Star Wars day. And there's a whole bunch of different Star Wars things that we like to celebrate on it. So it's super fun.
Okay. All right. So we talked briefly about how in Rebels, he tried to convince Ezra to be his trainer, right? Or his trainee. Apprentice, right?
Or
Not
Padawan.
a Padawan, I believe, is
Padawan
for
is the Jedi,
Jedi.
and the good.
yes.
So the apprentice.
So the apprentice, okay, and there's this right. Is he still considered the Sith in Rebels?
Well, he's a Force user.
He's a Force user,
Okay.
which has a red lightsaber, but the Inquisitors and Darth
Vader.
Vader want to hunt him down
Okay.
during Rebels. So
Okay.
they're like, they want him. Because I think in Maul Shadow Lord, they're like, oh, he's like, he is rounding up all these, he wants to take over us, we have to hunt for him. And then he disappears, so they're like, he's like hiding in the shadows. That's actually what happened in Rebels. He came out of the shadows to see Ezra, or Jabba, what she said. So,
Jabba.
Okay. All right. And then so there is a character here, right? Devon Izara.
Izara.
Is this the first time we're seeing her?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I kind of know, I remember everyone was thinking of the other one,
Darth
Talon, which is another Twi'lek that is red with black patterns that was Maul's apprentice. And so I feel like Maul is always liking Twi'leks as his Padawans, or...
I mean, what's not to love about Twi'leks?
Yeah, like, I love them too. And, like, I do Hera, and I do a blue one, so I kind of actually want to do Devon now.
Okay.
Because she's, like, pink, like that.
All right.
Well, I want to be here because she's a Force user, and also it's another way that Dad can cosplay with me, so he can be Maul. And really, I just love Twi'leks and getting to cosplay, and really just getting the feeling, if I love that character, I definitely want to be her. And she's like around my age too. She seems like a teenager, a young girl. She's trying to find her way back, and she wants to help people like me. So I feel like we have lots in common.
Okay. So that's great. So that's good. And then they showed a couple of scenes where she is arrested.
Yes, she's arrested.
Okay.
So, because she's hungry, and so her master is saying, like, don't steal, we can only beg. And so he's, like, asking a whole bunch of people, like, can I have something? And they're like, no. And so she actually stole some of the fruits, and then she was going back, and then a police droid bumped into her, and then she dropped all the fruits all over the floor, and then so she got arrested.
Okay.
So
Now, this is after a certain time in Star Wars
after
called
Order 66.
Order 66. Okay, so what does that mean that this is after? What does it mean for Devon?
So basically, Order 66, Emperor Palpatine wanted to kill all the Jedi to make them go extinct. And so he tried to, like, force all of them to be dead, and then most of them survived and hide.
So they're in hiding, right? So they don't want it to be known that they're Jedi. They don't want others to know. They don't want the Empire to know that they,
Because they're like,
they have the Force.
oh, there's a Jedi, let me call the Empire, or something like that. Like, oh,
And
there's
people
a
will
Jedi
rat
still
them out.
around.
People will rat them out.
So that so there was even in episode 3 or 4, I believe, where the so-called uncle, right, Devon's uncle, is really her Jedi master, but tells everyone that he's the uncle and that's why he cares about her. But in real life, she's the Padawan. All right. And then there's an episode, in episode 4, there's a scene where Maul is, trying to, get Devon to...
Convince Devon to turn and be a Padawan because he had like these visions that there's somebody else that he can use as a apprentice and he can like turn her into this a weapon to like destroy the Sith and destroy the Empire.
Okay.
He has so much hatred for the Empire.
Yeah,
because
so
why? Why does he have so much hatred?
His master abandoned him, and they murdered his mother, his brother, and
Who is his brother?
And his brother is
Savage,
which is the yellow Zabrak in the Clone Wars, and so he was trying to find Maul, his brother, so he asked Mother Talzin to like help me locate him and everything like that. And so then he like asked Mother Talzin to make better legs for Maul and everything, and to make his memory better.
So here's someone who has this persona of being evil, right? That people fear him. He has a lot of enemies, so it's not just the Jedi and the Force wielders, but the Empire as well.
And the Syndicates.
And the Syndicates, and the Pikes, and...
The Pikes are the Syndicates.
Okay, and all of these others, right? That he's almost a man on an island, where it's just him against everyone else. So you can kind of see where he's trying to convince Devon to become his apprentice. They just show, in one particular scene where they have the Cassius tea, where,
he's pouring the tea.
He's pouring the tea, having a conversation, and he's trying to show a more delicate side to him.
Yeah, I feel like he's more kind and sweet in that. Not really like sweet, but he's more softer. Because usually he's more angry and frustrated and scary. And so I feel like he was more like calm. And so he's trying to like make Devon feel comfortable. And he's trying to feel softer and try to persuade her.
In the scene where he's pouring the tea,
he's trying to convince Devon to join him and to fight the Empire because, well, they both hate the Empire. He wants to get rid of them because they killed his mother and his brother, which is like...
And so they have similarities, and that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to sympathize with her.
Yeah, because they both want to get rid of the Empire.
Right.
And they both want to live their, like, ways.
So they had similar experiences. They have the same goal, right? And ultimately what they want to do.
I don't really think they have the same goal. He wants to really rule all the syndicates. She doesn't. She wants to help people. Like, they only want to get rid of the Empire together.
So not all the goals, but some goals.
She wants to save people, and she's kind. And Maul, he just wants to take over the syndicates and get revenge on all the syndicates and the Empire.
Okay.
Because they all abandoned him.
All right. So they all, right, all right. So now he tries, but she rejects him. Right? And
then she uses the Force to get the lightsaber. And then she's like she's using the lightsaber to protect herself. And then she finds a way out. And when she finds that way out, because he asks like her name and she never tells anyone her name. And then after that, when she was going to run with the lightsaber, he uses the Force and grabs the lightsaber, and he said, "I'm going to need that back, Devon." Then she was like, "I need to go."
Right, and throughout the episode, she thinks that she's a prisoner. She said she wants to go. He keeps saying, "Well, then go. You can go." They have this conversation, and then she escapes.
She uses the Force.
Yeah.
To get her out, because she's like in this like safe. So she uses the Force to get herself out, And then, so there's another character who is trapped with her. And so he's like, how did you get out? So he's in another safe next to her. And he's like, how did you get out? How? But so he doesn't know that she's a Jedi or a Force user.
Right. So now she gets out, and then she ends up finding her master.
Yes, after she got out of the...
Yeah. All right. Now, there's another pretty big character here, making her return to the screen. Rook Kast, right?
Yes,
Rook Kast is back.
Who is voiced by Vanessa Marshall, who also voice acts...
Who's the voice actor who voices Harrison Dula.
From Rebels.
Yes.
Rebels.
Yes.
And she's one of my favorite characters. And so she is like this Mandalorian, and she was in the Clone Wars, and she didn't really have much dialogue, but she was by Maul's side. And then, after that, I feel like she picked him up, like saved him after the battle, and like he went to her and like started to like grow the syndicates and everything.
Okay. All right.
And because I know that Gar Saxon was like with the team, that he was like the right-hand man for Maul. And then after that, because I remember in Rebels, he went to the Empire. So I feel like during that time he went to the Empire.
Okay.
And so that's why Kast is more like that right-hand girl for Maul.
Okay.
More like that head, and like she's always questioning, like, why should we do this? Why are we keeping this girl? I thought you wanted this guy alive, like dead.
I think it's interesting where...
And she also got like a new hairstyle too, so I like that too.
Okay. Well, they had a new hairstyle. So thinking about Mandalorians, all the way from the first time we seen a Mandalorian on the screen was during the original, right? Boba Fett. And Boba Fett was a bounty hunter, and he was working with the Empire.
Well, they hired him for a job. He wasn't really working with them. He was working them for a bounty. Bounty hunter.
Yeah, as a bounty hunter, right? And so they're independent, but yet sometimes they, work with with the good guys. They work with the Empire. You think about in Mandalorian.
They're just bounty hunters. They want to do this stuff for money. They're doing all these. They're finding the bounty, like finding different creatures and all that for money, credits, and so they get paid. And so they do many of these jobs. They do they get hired for it, and that's how they get paid. That's their job, and that's their hobby.
Okay. So whoever wants to pay them, pretty much.
Yeah. So if I need you to get this or get that. It's basically like a personal grocery shopper who says, hey, I'm gonna pay you to get these things, get these eggs, get that, get milk, and all that kind of stuff.
Interesting. Okay. Or kill people or arrest people or...
Well, that's more like the policeman and the Sith. They're like, okay, I want to kill this guy. I'm gonna go get get people to say, hey, you guys go kill these guys or hunt these people down. More like the Inquisitors. Darth Vader's ordering them to find Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Right. Yeah. But,
But the bounty hunters are only to find bounty, to find things.
To find things that, okay. And to capture, right? What is Mandalorian said? I can bring you in cold?
No, I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Okay. All right.
It's
right.
So I can bring you alive, or I can bring you dead.
All right. So you talked about the police, right? There's another character that
they are the police. They're like the space police for this planet, and so one of the main policemen who is a detective, he has a son, and so the son plays this sport.
Okay.
And so you and Mom noticed.
Yeah.
The stick.
Very similar.
It was the hoop and scoop, right?
Yeah, our game in real life was called the hoop and scoop. Was one of the names. But yeah, it was this sort of.
And it was that little scoop handle thing. It was also in the first one too, because you remember it was Anakin's home. They had it on the wall.
Right. Yes. So it was briefly shown, but this was a lot more, right? A lot more attention.
Because it was like, it's sport, and that was our first time in Star Wars that you saw a stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, no, because there was a racetrack stadium when Anakin was doing pod racing. But it was the first stadium in the Clone Wars.
The first.
Like, I mean, not in the Clone Wars, but like
sporting.
in animation.
Maybe that was the first sport.
In animation.
Because if you think about, an arena, a stadium, if you think about where Padme and Anakin and Obi-Wan were chained up to pillars.
Oh, yeah, that's also on the
Okay.
And they also had...
Which at that scene, right, during the prequels, that was one huge epic lightsaber fight.
Yeah.
Right? Where looking at that movie where it was just a lot of lightsabers. I think they had something similar to that here in the most recent episode where there was an epic lightsaber battle in episode 4, right? In Maul's hideout.
Yes,
right?
And also like the gun battle too. Because there was Devon, her master, and Maul fighting with the lightsabers.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like the police force and the Mandalorians with 2 Zabrak brothers, and they were shooting guns at each other. And then the head police officer saw that there were lightsabers, and so he went up there and he saw Devon with her master with the lightsaber, and he finally noticed that there were Jedi, and he said a lightsaber, because one time he said laser sword, and he said, I haven't seen those in the Clone Wars, and now he knows that they're Jedi.
Okay. So, but yeah, it was a pretty big battle, wasn't it?
I loved, episode 4 and episode 3, or all the episodes of Maul Shadow Lord. They're great.
Well, I liked 1 and 2 because it sort of built out the story, right? It set what was, it introduced the characters. We were looking, it was building up the plot. And I think that there was a lot of action in 3 and 4.
Yes. So the first ones was building up the excitement, and then 3 and 4 are more like that lightsaber duel, the action and everything.
Right.
Just like the excitement.
Right. And I like the use of droids in this one.
Because they had a lot of droids, and also in the Clone Wars, only for the police force, there were droids. And then they had the Jedi that were humans. So now they have humans, or alien people, we don't know if they're humans, and droids, robots.
Now, I've heard, looking at, there's a lot of Star Wars fans out there. There's a lot of people that have made reaction videos and stuff. And what I found interesting is that somebody had made a reference to Gotham. How this was similar to Gotham, where you have this police force.
They said it was Star Wars that said it was part Gotham, part, what was the one with Superman? Metropolis. So it was part Gotham, part Metropolis, and all Star Wars.
Okay.
Or all Galaxy.
So yeah, I liked it that they had this little police force and they have droids.
And so, Two Boots, he always followed the protocol, which said if there's an actual need of emergency that the local police force can't handle, they have to call the Jedi. And so his protocols were say, well, if we can't do the Jedi because they're not here, we have to do the Empire. So he was about to call the Empire, and so the
captain.
The captain, of the police force was no, and then he
turned him off.
Yeah, turned him off, and then turned
the
calling
message,
off, the single.
Uh-huh.
And so I feel like he was a little too late. I feel like he should have turned it off and then
a little bit sooner.
Off. Yeah.
Right.
Because then in the end of the episode, well, spoiler alerts, they came. So you should watch. We need a blooper before this thing that says like spoilers are included in this episode. So you should go see it before.
So but what we're trying to do here is explain a little bit more about who these characters are and introduce them to people who may not be Star Wars fans or
people that are just getting into this fandom and only are knowing about this because of me.
Yes, yeah. So from your K-pop, from your kids' point of view, what are some of the big takeaways? What are the first 4 episodes that you've seen? What are some of the important things from your kids' perspective?
I would say more kids are into cartoons than live action.
Okay.
So I'd say like that brings more action into like animation, so I feel like more kids will be interested in that because I know I am. And I feel like you can do more things with animation than you could do with live action because you can do like someone being cut in half or like a droid getting like or you could do like a thing hovering like a spaceship or like something like that.
Okay.
But you could do like much more like as in the animation there's like brush strokes in the animation that I love that is like not in any of the other animations, so I love that. I really like all the characters. They have good like stories behind them and really more like personality and stuff like that. So it's like a great show. It's not like a boring show that people are like zoned out of like the first 2 seconds or like minutes.
Right.
It's more of like the interesting thing like, ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's that?
I think they do an incredible job with the graphics on this.
Yes.
Definitely, using modern state-of-the-art technology to be able to do it, which is great.
And it looks great. Like,
it does.
They look so cool, and really, animation is so cool that I just want to be like those characters. Cause like, oh, I don't see this like Devon Izara, like she's new, she's not in live action that I've seen before. So it's like, oh, I should start this new cosplay because I love animation. And so some people like, oh, I don't want to watch the live actions or I don't want to watch the animation because animation are for kids. Well, I watch both, and I love to do like live action, cosplays and animation cosplays. So it's really nice.
Yeah.
All the Star Wars things.
And what's nice that, about watching animations. So you really don't. I know that there was somebody had asked Sam Witwer, who is the voice of Maul, right? The animated Maul character, and asked him, what do we have to watch to know about Maul before we watch this? And he said, absolutely nothing. You don't have to know anything about this character ahead of time. You can watch this. You can start from
like,
episode 1.
As you like episode 1, you kind of know, like, you kind of get the sense of his backstory. And I remember that when he was pouring the Chelsea's tea, he said that his mother was murdered, his brother was murdered, so that got a sense, like, why is he so mad?
Right.
Like that. And also, Obi-Wan did chop him in half, so that was the first thing to get mad about. But he did mention that, unless he did because Devon kicked his mechanic leg, and so you heard, like, this little, like, scratching, so you kind of know, like, why does he have this mechanic leg? Well, you have to watch some of the episodes, like, the shows after.
Right, to have an understanding of what that scene was about. But, for anyone that has never watched any of the movies, this is something that they can just get right into.
Yeah.
And something that I like what they do, what Star Wars does with animation, what Lucasfilms does and others, is they introduce new characters, brand new characters in animations. You have Ahsoka Tano, who was introduced in animation first, before we saw her on the live screen. Hera Syndulla, Ezra.
Yeah, most of the, like, cool characters, like, which I love, are more in animation, and then they get transferred into live action, which I love, too.
Right. So
I love like the choosing of the actors for the live action. They're really good too.
So I think if anyone who has never seen a Star Wars movie or animation before, you don't have to feel like you can't get into this because you don't know the characters, you don't know their backstory, you don't know where they're coming from. This can be something that this could be the first Star Wars thing you've ever seen.
So this is like great. I love them and everything. And the shows, like once you like watch one show, you're like, okay, yeah, I like this. This is good.
Yeah.
And like this is interesting. And then you're like, oh, wait, what? Who is this guy again? And then you kind of get a sense like, oh yeah, this is good. Yeah, like few episodes like later, you're like, okay, I love this.
Right.
This
Well,
is
I mean,
good.
I don't know. I liked it right from the start, right?
Yeah.
From
But like
the first episode.
Some people like they have
Some people they
different
have to
themes,
right. They
and
have
they
to
have
see.
to like see, and they have to like check out like this is not for me. I don't like animation. And, like, they kind of, like, look and see, like, oh, I like this story. This is a good theme. And then they kind of, like, love it after.
Right. And I think that, again, just to reiterate, I think this is a great series to be able to start looking at it. And you know, even if you've never seen a Star Wars movie or animation before, you can start with this one.
Yeah, it's super great.
All right. So is there anything else? Any last remarks you want to talk about Maul before we wrap this up?
Well, Maul is I feel like he's misunderstood. Because, really what he was trying to do is try to do all these things, and almost everyone betrayed him, and so he has all this anger in him that he just wants to let out, and so he wants to get revenge on them, and so they're scared of him. But like, really, you should have think that through. You know that he's powerful and he uses the Force, so why do you think that before you betrayed him? Like, you're just like, okay, he could kill me after this, so I don't want to do this, so let me just stick with his side. So really, they really have to think, because he's been mistreated. So he's like, I want to get revenge on you. You betrayed me. I need to do this. And he lost a lot of people that are in his family that was important to him. So he really wants to get back and everything.
Okay.
So he's really just misunderstood. What would you do if everyone killed your family and everyone turned their backs on you? What would you do?
Right. Good question. Yeah.
Because he was a Sith, he is dark side. Usually, like, I remember Palpatine was, like, saying to Anakin, use all the hatred and everything, because hatred and attachment leads to anger, and that leads to the dark side. And so, since they killed his family, and he had attachment to them, he had anger, and he had more of the frustration, and so that's what caused him to be more powerful, and that's why he's more mean and scared.
Okay. Yeah. I love that for the last words.
You.
All right.
So, this is Macsrebo and Macsrebo's dad signing off from a galaxy far,
Far away.